Welcome to part 3, stretching a fine art canvas onto some 25mm deep stretcher bars. Hope you enjoyed this. We're just starting looking at the print and seeing it's got the title, some copyright information, the edition number, and the little dotted line just to trim rather than using the cutter on the printer. So I'm just showing you the edge of the print here where I've just extended a little bit, 25mm, to cover the depth of the stretcher bar. And just see that's going to be important in a minute. Now we're going to turn the picture over and just mark the edge of the extended printing to cover the edge of the stretcher bars. So once we've done this all the way around, speeded it up a bit, we'll be able to just drop the stretcher bars as made up straight on top. It'll all be lined up, so much easier than I used to do it, and I hope this helps you as well. The next thing I do is to just put the canvas over the edges and stick it down with some masking tape. It just makes it a little easier and stops it sliding around before you get the first staples in. Having stuck the canvas down does give the advantage that I can lift that up in a minute and just check everything that the theory has worked in practice before I actually staple this in place. So all is good. Next we get the stretcher pliers. There's a pair of stretcher pliers I've had for donkey's years and I've had to repair. And just a Stanley stapler, heavy duty stapler with, I use 6mm staples. They go in very firmly. I think 8's a bit too long and very straightforward. So the first staple going in there is just not much stretching involved because it's only held in place by the tape. But obviously it gets progressively more as time goes on. Next we're going to put the staple directly opposite that first staple put in and can give it a good pull now. But this whole canvas is going to be quite floppy to start with, and it's quite surprising how it tightens up as time goes on, and we'll see that. I usually just tap the front like I'm doing there and you can see it all flopping around. But as time goes on, that's going to get tighter and tighter. So although I haven't yet reached the corner, I tend to do the corners quite early. That's mainly because sometimes I've got right to the corner in the past and then realised it's really difficult to do the fold that you can see me doing now. it's really difficult to get all that to fit in. So I tend to do it early, but expect to come back and redo that when I get to the corner, but at least it's in the right place. So letting a few of these run through, or a couple, and then I'll speed it up. Hopefully you'll get the idea. My wife's so fussy about corners, and I have to get them right. Bit of practice, I suppose. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I couldn't possibly explain it. Hopefully that is helpful. After I've gone so far around the canvas, keep turning it round and round, I tend to focus on the corners and just do each corner in turn, as I'm doing here now. I just find that easier. It's I've done both ways. It's optional, and that's what I do now, and that will eventually work. Just makes it easier to focus on exactly where you are, so you get it tight into the corner. As we're stretching the canvas right into the corner, you'll obviously be aware of the join in the wooden stretcher bars, that line that runs between the two bars. You don't want to staple over that, because later on we're going to put some wedges in, and that joint is quite important. I'll come to that later, but just be careful not to staple over that joint. We're getting close now to the end. I'm just checking the canvas. If there's anything not right, you want to pick it up now. It's going to be much easier to put it right. So we've reached time to put the wedges in. These come with the stretcher bars. There's 2 in each corner and 1 on each of the cross braces. Didn't find these particularly easy to put in, but 1 in each corner, and I don't do much with it, just push it in enough that they won't fall out. Recently I had someone come back with a picture. We'd had it in our studio for a while, and for some reason in their room it had gone a bit loose, and all I had to do was just tap these pegs in a little bit further, and 5 minutes it was looking as good as it should do. So they're very useful. They just need to go in really far enough not to drop out in normal use. And just done that one. I've got a block of wood there just to save, sort of, it gives some resistance for the stretcher bar. And just be careful with the hammer, not to, you don't want to use anything that's too rough. Sometimes I put a bit of mount board in there just so that I don't risk damaging the canvas. And just going now with the final peg in the cross brace, and very nearly there now. So here we are on the final stage. I don't know if you can see those brackets are a bit distant, but I like these brackets. They're very good for canvases. I prefer to put 2 panhead screws in and hang them straight on the brackets. It holds the canvas tight to the wall, but I always put string on, and then if people want to just hang it on one hook, that's up to them. I fix the whether they're D-rings or this type of fitting, I fit them about a third of the way down the picture. That seems to work for me. I've left this bit in here because I remember one wife telling me how to put a piece of cord on a picture, and it's something about rabbits and holes and round here and round there, but she did it in a way only artists can, and I didn't understand a word of it, so this is how I do it. I think it's the same way she said, and if you can follow it, I'm certainly not going to describe rabbits going down holes and this, that and the other. So more or less finished now, and hopefully it'll be helpful to anyone who watches this. Hope you've enjoyed it. Just have the final image of the picture before we finish. And there we have it, Crossing the Channel with Angels. Finished. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's been helpful to you. And wish you well in your canvas stretching. Bye for now.